Hello, my name is TherapyBacon. I do not know what I am doing, but I am doing something. Join me as I talk to wacky, silly, and yet I dare say meaningful conversations. I am not a licensed therapist, nor do I claim to be one. However, I will try my best to talk and to listen and to discuss whatever you guys would like. Available on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you and enjoy the shenanigans. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's your name?
My name is Jack.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Jack the Ripper.
Very basic name.
Jack.
Jack the Ripper? Oh yeah, wasn't his fucking identity like revealed like a few days ago and he turned out to be some black Polish barber?
You know, I heard something about that. Jack the Ripper. His something about DNA, like across, they found with all the technology nowadays, they discovered.
Oh, yeah. He's like some random Polish barber. It's actually insane.
Yeah. But
you know what I think?
Uh-huh.
I think potatoes were bestowed upon us by some higher power. That's why they're so good. They can just work with everything.
Potatoes. I agree with that. Potatoes, they nourish us with potato salad, mashed potatoes,
fries. It tastes very good.
What about potatoes do you like?
I think, first of all, they're extremely versatile. Like, there's nothing that you can't put on a potato and it tastes bad. Like, everything tastes good with potatoes. It tastes good with literally everything. And, like, what else? They're also good for you. They contain potassium, so like they de-bloat you and they make you look better.
Potatoes, they make you. I was a common misconception. I thought that potatoes would gain weight in like a bad way.
No, actually the opposite, because they have potassium, and potassium de-bloats your face. It's like when you eat bananas, like a bunch of bananas and stuff. Some people do this. Eat a bunch of bananas, or they get just potassium tablets, and the day after, like your face starts looking much like leaner and skinnier because you get bloated with that potassium.
You know what? You're right, because when I thought of that, when I said that previously, that's like French fries. A potato is good, but when they add all the oil, the salt, and all this other stuff, it turns into not a natural potato, but a altered potato.
Exactly. French fries are fucking terrible, especially when they're like dipped in those like those, what was it called, vegetable oils and stuff. Some people fry them in vegetable
ranch, barbecue, honey mustard.
Exactly. But like mashed potatoes, they're just boiled potatoes, and then you mash them into each other with like milk and stuff. Like, it's really good for you.
Growing up, I was told that when you mash potatoes, it makes them more unhealthy because it releases something when you break it up. That could be total bullshit, but
I don't think that's true. It's like the same thing. There's no difference at all. You're just eating the potato, just mashed. It makes it easier to eat. There's no real difference at all.
How often do you eat mashed potatoes?
I would say on a weekly basis, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. I don't just eat them. I don't just eat potatoes just because they taste good. I also just eat them for like de-bloating in general. Like, they make me look better, so I just eat them. Because I feel like you just have to.
Who supplies you with your potatoes?
I buy them. I got money. I just go to the market and just buy them every day. 5 potatoes. I don't know how much pounds. Like 12 pounds. 12 pounds of potatoes.
12 pounds of potato per week?
Yeah, somewhere around that.
Holy fuck. Damn.
It's maybe unhealthy a bit on a weekly basis, but it tastes really good.
You know what
I...
Uh-huh.
Would you say looks can help you in life?
Growing up, I was on the heavier side. I was a chubby kid. And I would get bullied and stuff. And when I entered my 20s, I had enough of it, and I lost all the weight, lost over 90 pounds, and changed my look. I was unrecognizable, and I got a girlfriend within the month. And you know what? I can. It's not something everyone wants to hear out loud, but the world is what it is, and I would say that yes, your looks definitely do make life easier for you as opposed to the latter.
So would you say you noticed like a significant improvement from how people treated you from like when you were like fat as hell and then like when you lost weight? Would you say like you noticed a positive improvement in how people treated you in general?
Yeah, being real, yes, I would say, yeah.
So you think pre-privilege and stuff exists, right? Like
100%.
more attractive people have it easier in life.
Don't get me wrong, your personality does have to do with a lot of it, but just basing somebody off of, not knowing who they are without talking
Mm-hmm.
to them or anything, yeah, I would say looks immediately play the first role when you interact or, are meeting someone, opening the door, you know.
Exactly. So would you say generally that there's some people out there that say, oh, personality matters way more than looks, and that looks don't matter that much. What do you think about people who say that? Do you think it's like generally like false, or do you think like personality is much more important than looks, as some people say, like the majority of people would say?
You're like taking my job right now, but like I'm all for it. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
I think you gotta get like in the nitty gritty for that because if you're looking for a relationship, obviously it depends on the person, right? Because everyone's different. So like I think for a
Mhm.
relationship it's like 60-40, whether it be 60 is your looks or 60 is your personality. That is up to the person.
Yeah.
If you're just trying to get your dick wet, it could
Yeah.
be 80% or 90% looks. Whereas
No,
suppose
that's a
like it
good
doesn't
answer.
really matter how the person acts as long as they're hot because you want to.
That's such a good answer, actually. Yeah, I can see why in like relationships that some people might look for personality maybe a little bit more than in just hookups, where they're just like looking for like immediate sexual interaction or something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That
But
does make sense.
just like I said before, it is what it is. That's just the world we live in, and I think the quicker that people accept, the harsh reality of the world, the quicker people will be able to succeed in life and not trip over the bullshit obstacles that a lot of the internet put in place for them.
So you think people like there's a lot of people I see on like especially on like social media platforms like TikTok and stuff.
Hmm.
I've seen these women, right, who will demonize men for like let's say having physical preferences, like let's say, oh, you want a curvier body, like you don't want somebody who's skinny. But then these same women, right, these exact same women, all of their boyfriends, all their exes, any of them, you look at them, you'll see all their boyfriends above 6'2", ripped, very good looking, and then they'll demonize men for like having these like physical preferences. And then I was having an argument with somebody like the other day actually about this stuff. Like basically this girl was like demonizing men, like to say, oh, men shouldn't have these preferences towards like curvier body types. And then like I would like ask her, okay, how tall is your boyfriend and your exes? Okay. The average height's like 5'9", okay? So a 6'2", 6'3" person will be like the top 1-2% of people. So it's obviously a type, right? All of her ex-boyfriends were all 6'3.5" and above. Like that is like insanely tall, first of all. That's like that's like top 3% of people. Like that's insane. And then I would like tell her that and she would say, oh, I just like their personality. Oh, and they just happen to be incredibly handsome and 6'3". And then like I would just argue with them. Like, what do you think about that in general? Like when people say like, oh, personality matters and looks, and they demonize men for having preferences.
Well, I think, again, this goes to the very nitty gritty, but I think a lot of it has to do. Some people, they can be projecting what they aren't into what they want, but I think a lot of it boils down to just a lot of people are hypocrites, man. Some people they'll say that, this is wrong for you, but it's right for me, which is just being a
Exactly.
hypocrite. And it's just that's just the whether it is a male doing that, whether it's a female doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's different, and everyone has their own views on like everyone can be dumb and everyone can be smart, but a lot of people are dumb in that situation, or a lot of people play dumb also, which I noticed. A lot of people play
Yeah,
dumb.
I guess so. That's true. Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
What do you think about chess?
What about what?
Chess.
Chess? The game?
Yeah. What do you think
I,
about chess?
I love chess. I recently bought a glass board chessboard and I played it a couple of times. Beat my nephew at least 100 times. Poor little sucker can't win. But yeah, man, I love chess. What do you think of chess?
I think it's amazing. Do you like? I was thinking about some stuff earlier, right? Some of these people raise their children
Hmm.
from like the age of 3 or something to playing chess, and I was thinking like the majority of these people who like grow up on chess as like at a young age, like they turn out to have like incredibly high IQs, and I was like trying to think, do you think like chess has like a positive impact on like IQ or something. Like the more you play chess at like a younger age or something, and then this person never played chess. Let's say this guy, person A, he never played chess in his life, and then person B was raised on chess as at a young age, and then they both do an IQ test, and person B who played chess from like at a young age, do you think he would like have a higher IQ than him, like the other guy, just because he was just raised on this incredibly hard like game?
So I actually I talked to a on another call. I talked to somebody that, well, they could be lying, but they claim to be a doctor and like a neuroscientist, and they talked about like how the brain
Mm-hmm.
works and stuff. And we talked about that theory. And so apparently, okay, so when you're a child and you read a book or like you're playing with shapes, it stimulates a certain part of your brain, and it makes you
Mm-hmm.
think. It's critical thinking. Now, when you play chess, it's basically like the ELD version of reading a book because you're stimulating the fuck out of your brain by like
That's
thinking of
true. Yeah.
multiple moves, you're thinking of what the guy is gonna do, and like you're like 3 steps ahead of your own brain, which
Mm-hmm.
is not normal for a child, but chess,
It's
it's a
pretty
game.
hard. Yeah.
It's a game, so kids are able to like pick up on it because they think it's a, well, I mean, it is a game, but to them it's a game, even though it's like actually really stimulating their brain and helping them with the longevity of like thinking and forming a battle plan to whoop the enemy's ass.
Of course, yeah. Would you say it's important to get your children into like sports at a young age? Do you
Mm,
think?
mm, I feel like that depends on the kid, right? It depends on how they grow up, because at the end of the day, kids are what their parents raised them to be and how they
Yeah.
turn out.
Yeah.
You know, look at Jeffrey Dahmer, for example. His
Oh, yeah.
his father showed him how to unzip animals, and look what he did. He unzipped people.
But like,
So
would you say like that's like a product of his environment, or do you think he was just born that way?
again, going into the nitty gritty, who knows how he was actually raised? I just watched a Netflix documentary and ate popcorn while
Yeah.
watching him kill people. But
Yeah.
it just it all depends. It all depends. There's a bunch of things that could play into the part of that.
Like, I feel when I see these serial killers, right?
Hmm.
Like when I see them,
You see
these
serial killers,
psychopaths. No, 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 of course not. But like documentaries and stuff.
right?
Like these serial killers and stuff. These psychopaths. It's more so a product of like their own brain. Like no matter how they would have been raised, they would have came out that way. Like it doesn't matter how they would have been raised. Like some people like to say like, oh, it's the parents' fault, or oh, it's the father's fault because they raised their child that way. But I feel like it's like almost like genetic. Like they were born that way. They were gonna be that way anyways. Would you agree with that?
Honestly, I would disagree.
Yeah.
Just because I've seen a lot of 3 a.m. obviously. I've seen a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of like cult videos and stuff, and like there's stuff that's okay. Have you heard of the story of Grandpa?
No, what is that actually? What is
Okay,
it?
so Grandpa, I don't really remember the actual name of the cult, but it was basically a sex cult where they would send VHSs. This was like way back in the day when like the internet wasn't a thing. They would send VHSs to like parents and stuff, and they would talk about like it was basically a sex cult, and they would indoctrinate like children and stuff, and like the children would like they would
Mm-hmm.
be sent tasks like, okay, I want your kid to do this and that, record it, and then send it back to me, and it's for the name of like love, and like he was like God to them. And there was a
Mm-hmm.
recent documentary that was published, and it's an interview with one of the kids. He's like 20, she's like 20 now, but she still believes the same things of the sex cult, and she still thinks that he's God even
It's
though
been
he's dead.
brainwashed.
And one of the main leader of the cult, his son,
Yeah.
um he was like touched profusely because he was like the heir to the throne, so to speak.
Yeah,
And
it's terrible.
but he, for even though he was indoctrinated into it, he knew what was wrong with it. So he ended up he wanted to kill his mom, but he ended up
Uh-huh.
killing his, like, she was like doing something or whatever, it wasn't there. So he ended up killing like one of like the lieutenants of the cult, and then unfortunately killed himself after,
God
through
damn.
the guilt of what he had done for murdering someone.
He killed himself
He
after he killed
killed
his mom?
it wasn't his mom. It was like one of the lieutenants of like the cult.
The cult, yeah.
Yeah, but but that's also another thing. He was literally the heir to the throne, raised like that, but he changed his mind. Even though his literal like dad was like a sex cult leader. So,
Yeah,
if your theory is correct, then that means he should have blatantly wanted that, but he did not.
that actually does make
You
sense
know,
now that I'm thinking
you
about it.
know,
Yeah.
free
What's that
will.
story called you just talked about?
Just look up. I think look up like grandpa sex cult, and it'll pop up. It's like
Grandpa.
a YouTuber made that video. I watched a video of Dante reacting to it. That's how I found out about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, really interesting video.
Really interesting. I actually have another question. What do you think about like genetics in sports? Do you think genetics matter in sports, or do you think it's hard
Genetics.
work?
Okay. Damn, I had a mini stroke there. I think
No.
genetics in sports have like they play a part, right? Like yeah, they definitely play a part. You can't be a basketball player being 5 foot. You know what I mean? You can't.
Exactly.
It's just you gotta have jack of all trades, man. You just gotta have that gene.
But
Definitely
like, would
definitely
you
hard
say
work. Definitely hard work is 110%. You gotta learn how to play the game. You gotta get stamina.
you think
You gotta. Mhm.
you think hard work is more important than talent? Though, would you say that?
I believe talent derives from hard work, so hard work is definitely
How
worth
so?
more. Because well, talent you can't really prove like talent. In my opinion, comes from hard work because you got to put in the grind. You could be talented, but if you don't have stamina, you're gonna be shit. If you don't have the strength, maybe you're genetically strong, but you could always improve. You could always be better, and
I feel like it's almost nearly 80% genetic, and the rest hard work. Like what I feel is like some of these, like let's say the top football players, like Messi, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, all these football players, right? A lot of these people, they say, let's say Cristiano Ronaldo, like the football player,
so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So a lot of people would say Cristiano, oh no, he's a product of hard work more than talent. But Cristiano, like, first of all, to even make it that high in sports, you have to be ridiculously athletic, ridiculous. Like, and this isn't like just taught. You can't just like, oh, run for 50 minutes every day. You're gonna be as athletic as Cristiano Ronaldo. It's not possible. Okay. Second of all, this guy is 6'2", and he has like a 40-inch vert. Third of all, like genetics also, that's been studied before. Like genetics somehow play a role in how your brain in like this like short and fast decision making, like being able to make decisions in these like split seconds and like 2 seconds, being able to make the correct decision, or like the decision that would lead to the best outcome. Apparently, like these scientists have been like studying these athletes' minds almost, and they've come to the conclusion that some people, like, they literally like react faster and can make decisions faster than some other people, simply by just being born. They just have the genetics, and they can just make these correct decisions at like split lightning fast seconds, or like being able to run incredibly fast, being able to like jump really high, or like do all this stuff. So it's like, and then like you'd argue with them like, oh, do you seriously think like hard work matters as much as it does? Like, yeah, hard work matters. Like, don't get me wrong, it definitely matters. But like, it's almost nearly 90% of the time completely genetic with some hard work. Like, it's the talented ones that work hard. Those are like the ones that really make it. Is like what I think about this stuff. And when people say like, oh, I think hard work matters more than talent, and that talent isn't really a thing. But there's actually some people that do think that, and it's kind of ridiculous to me.
So it's not my fault I suck dick at Call of Duty?
No,
Hmm. That makes me feel better.
definitely not.
That makes me feel better.
Some people just fucking react faster.
What was your name again?
Jack.
Jack. Jack of all trades. Jack.
Fucking terrible at everything. That's ironic.
Jack,
Yeah, what's up?
I'm gonna be honest. My laptop is at 5%, so we're gonna have to wrap this up. But Jack, is there anything else you want to say? Ask yourself, ask me, and/or tell the people that are watching.
I'm hungry and I'm sleeping. I'm gonna fucking sleep, dude.
You are hungry and you are sleepy.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you eat food. I hope you sleep. And
you too, man. You have some fun with your next podcast. It was nice talking to you.
Appreciate you.
Nice.
You have a good night. the jack of all trades. That was an interesting conversation. We talked about a lot of topics. Although I did not learn too much about his personal life of Jack Sparrow, I learned that he is a kind of a philosopher, man. Bro's talking about everything. But I respect him, and I respect his opinion on the majority of things he said, and I think Jack will prosper to do great things. I'm really fucking hungry now. Hello?
Hello?
What's your name?
My name? Is this for the thing?
Yeah, we started.
Hey, what's up, people? I'm Carter, and we're gonna talk about life.
Talk about life.
About life of a teenager.
Life of a teenager. Carter, how old are you?
15 and in high school. It's a pain in the fucking ass.
I can resonate with that. When I was in high school as a 15-year-old, I don't quite remember. It was alright. It was like lukewarm, extra medium for me, I would say. What about you, Carter?
Yeah.
How is high school like for you in 2025? Because I know it's a definitely a different time.
Well, nowadays we have people hitting nicotine and all that other shit. And life is a lot different now since it was so many years ago.
See, back in my day, which isn't that far off, but it's enough for me to say that. We, to smoke weed and stuff, you would actually have to roll up a joint and put an actual bud in there, so that shit would stink. You'd smell like a skunk. So back then it was you were viewed as differently, but nowadays you guys have like actual like things that taste like raspberry jam and like peanut butter deluxe and stuff.
Peanut butter deluxe
like cookie supreme, and like, you guys have all these like wacky flavors in like this little tube, and it's just it's a different time, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. Like a lot of people are just different and stuff.
Same
It's
thing with
just
nicotine.
difficult. Yeah, life is difficult.
Life is definitely difficult. I'm curious, Carter. Because back then, people, they had phones, but I feel like people weren't on their phone as much. I feel like in high school, since you got an inside view, do you see?
I really have inside view. Oh God.
Do you see more phones than you see eyes throughout the day?
I don't look at people. I hate people.
I stand with that.
Well, nowadays, everything's on technology, so.
That's true. I guess there's a purpose behind it, so you can't really judge people. I mean, I never judge people. Everyone can live their life how they want to live, right? Same as us. We don't want to be judged, so you never judge anybody else. But you can judge them in secret, though. They don't have to.
Well, Donald Trump's orange ass needs to change some things. Looking like the sun and shit.
The sun, an orange
little boy needs to change things.
Orange boy. Politics. Gotta love Trump.
Politics.
Gotta hate him.
Politics now in 2025.
Politics. Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to get into politics. Politics that's a whole sticky situation, I would say. I feel like, actually, I'm going to get into it anyways. I feel like politics.
I'm getting into it.
It's like, I'll briefly talk about it with you. I feel like it's kind of sad how people, like, obviously we're all living in the same country, so we should all be holding hands. There's like Democratic, there's Republican, and then there's like the in-between people, which is where I would say I fit in, because there's like views from that side that I like, and then there's views from that side that I like, and I don't want to specifically stick with one side, because then you're closing your mind to opinions, and like you're very shut in, and it's an unhealthy way to live, I would say.
So what's your opinion on like the gay people in the world? Like What's your a point of it?
I think everyone has the right to live how they want to live. I do not have the right to take that away, to make fun of them for it.
Yeah.
I have the right to, but I don't have the right to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's just weird, to be honest. Like, I get like they don't want to be called like a male or a female. Like, I get that, the point of it. But like, why the fuck are you acting like a dog? Like, why is there like people acting like pets? Like, that shit's kind of weird. Like, you could.
Everyone has their own viewpoint. Like me, if you ask me, is it weird to act like a dog? Yes. Am I gonna walk up to that person and make fun of them? No, because they have the right to do that. But I talked about this with somebody else previously. I don't like it when things are like forced down your throat. You know what I mean? Like it's just projected everywhere to the point where it's like it affects you personally. That hasn't happened to me yet, but a previous caller was saying that the flag being like thrown in his face all the time was like affecting him, and he didn't like the way it would make him feel.
I agree, Bacon, but like, in my opinion, like, I feel like them saying they own the rainbow is kind of like it's kind of weird. Like, the rainbow has been around forever, but like, why would they steal something what is basically just a normal thing of society?
You know what? Like, that's actually a really good thought you had there.
They can take colors from the rainbow, but like, saying you own the rainbow is kind of, weird.
I guess in a way, I mean, I never like put a rainbow rainbow is beautiful, right? You're driving down the highway or whatever, and you see a rainbow, you're like, ooh. You may take out your phone, maybe post it on Instagram or whatever. But
people took pictures of rainbows and said it's a pretty sky today, and then 20 years later, we're calling rainbows gay.
Yeah. Okay. See, I guess in a sense, if that, yeah, I guess that can affect somebody because like you said, 20 years ago, a rainbow was a rainbow. Now, if you like post a rainbow or something, you might get somebody commenting, gay or this or that. Whereas, you just see, a colorful rainbow because rainbows are the shit. Who doesn't like a rainbow?
Yeah, rainbows are pretty cool. Like, I don't like rainbows now because people are talking, like, saying the gay people own them. Like, this is our thing. What do you mean? We've had this for forever, like 20 years. The rainbow has been around way longer than 20 years, pal. That stuff was supported in so many daycares across the world. Now they still are. They still are. But now they're just considered as the gay sign.
I believe that everyone has the right to an opinion, and not everything that people say is
right to do whatever. Yeah,
everyone has the right to do whatever they want. You can, you can judge, but it's. I mean, is it right to? Who knows? That's up to the person, and everyone thinks differently. Before we go, is there any other topic you would like to discuss, or anything you have on your mind that you want to get out there?
Well, just be smart with your decisions.
Be smart with your decisions. I think that's beautifully said. That's something that a lot of people nowadays can learn from.
Yeah.
Technology.
Nowadays, it's not as great. People are just everywhere in their lives, in their mind. You can never know what people are thinking of.
I think one of the healthiest things, as a certified UNC, I think it is very, very important to have a purpose in life, an end goal to whatever you are doing, whether it would whether it be school, whether it be working out, whether it be beating a video game. Just any goal in general, getting a job, if you stagnate, if you get, comfortable, at a certain point, you're just gonna either fall off or just stay, at a median, which, It's not good. You gotta just keep it pushing. Would you agree, Carter? Mm-hmm. Well, Carter, is there anything you want to ask yourself? Ask me,
nope. Just stay crispy like his bacon. Just like bacon.
Stay crispy like it's bacon. I like that. Carter.
Stay crispy like Mr. Bacon. Yep.
You have a beautiful night.
You do. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Carter was a good lad. Good lad, I'd say. In high school, I know high school can be a very difficult point in everybody's lives. People are changing rapidly. A lot of ego floating around in high school. There's a pressure to kind of prove yourself. Especially nowadays with technology. Like it's kind of crazy how much it's like shaped people's minds and their perspectives on stuff. I feel like it's made life a little too easy. I think people need life to be a little hard so they can prosper.